So, we've had our first announcement of something new for Doctor Who Day, and that is the announcement of a brand new cut-down colorisation of an old 1960s serial. We're getting the War Games. But, and there is a big but here, there's something in the press release which may annoy some people. A slight change of potential continuity that this hints at. We'll get to it. Let's talk about it. Hello, welcome to Culture Filter. I am the fill-in filter, and we're going to talk about the news that's just been released that we are getting the War Games on DVD as well as on iPlayer, and actually they didn't technically announce the DVD, but I imagine it will be coming out on DVD and Blu-ray, but they announced that it will be on BBC4 and iPlayer. So first of all, let's tackle that news. As I said, we've had the announcement of this new cut-down repeat. We've had one of these cut-down colorised repeats before, and that was the Daleks last year. Made sense that they would follow that maybe with a second Doctor one, as that is also the two Doctors that are black and white. They've done a first Doctor, let's do a second Doctor. I think a lot of people, though, were expecting them to do either a follow-up on a Dalek or a Cyberman story, because that, they're the two big villains from the 60s. So, comes maybe as a little bit of a surprise that they're doing the War Games instead, the final second Doctor story. But then again, if you're going to pick something that's a bit more obscure villain-wise, why not go for something that's an end of an era? So this will be airing on BBC4 in the UK and hitting iPlayer on the 23rd of December, so just over a month's time. Just before Christmas. Once again, it's been cut down to 90 minutes to make it more appealable to modern audiences. I know that's a controversial decision. There are some people that are in favour of it, some people that think it's sacrilege to cut the stories down. I'm okay with it, generally. I think that these aren't replacing the originals. They sit alongside the originals, and therefore, if it's a way of getting people in and getting them watching the classic series where they might have dismissed it before, I think it's a good thing. They may then go on to watch the longer version once they've got a bit more invested in the show and the classic era and that particular Doctor's era. So I don't think it's a bad thing to do these cut down repeats. I think it worked really well for the Daleks. The only thing that stuck out to me as slightly strange with the Daleks one was when they had the music that they used during the escape thing sequence made it feel a bit comical. But the other cuts to it, the other rearrangement of shots to make the pace a bit more pacey, I guess, I was fine with in that serial. So I trust them to do the same here and to make it an exciting 90 minutes of television. But let's get on to what I do think is the controversial issue, or will be the controversial issue with this, and it will purely depend on how much you know about expanded universe stories, because here's what it says in the press release. In addition, the episodes will also feature the second Doctor's never before seen regeneration into the third Doctor. So for those that don't know, what happened at the end of this serial is that spoilers by the way, but the Time Lords force a regeneration on the second Doctor, but we don't actually see it. We get to see him being shown loads of potential faces, him rejecting them, and it kind of ends with him being spiraled off and kind of into this black void by the Time Lords. And then the next season picks up with the third Doctor stumbling out of the TARDIS having just regenerated. We never see that regeneration. Now, because there is a potential narrative gap there that has been exploited, or could be exploited, and indeed has been exploited by various expanded media things that propose that potentially the second Doctor didn't regenerate quite straight away, and that instead the Celestial Intervention Agency of the Time Lords used the Doctor as an agent and sent him on various missions. That's even kind of reflected in the TV show itself, because in the 80s we had the episode The Two Doctors, and while it's never addressed specifically or explained specifically, we have a very much older looking second Doctor there who hints at events that wouldn't make sense if it was actually a Doctor from earlier in his timeline anyway. So it kind of makes sense that that's a Doctor from between the War Games and him regenerating that is in this two-Doctor story, multi-Doctor story with Colin Baker. So this kind of season 6B type theory has been around for decades now and has been used to give a gap for stories in both Big Finish and novels and comics and all sorts of things. So this, if they're going to go insert this scene where we see the regeneration into the Third Doctor, might pose some problems for that. And there will be people out there that goes, so what? Continuity of books and comics and audios doesn't matter. And yeah, okay, that's a fair point to have if you want it. I personally am somebody who likes to find a way to headcanon everything as canon and into the whole world, everything from any media. And I think with a time travel show, you've got a lot of leeway to do that, because history can be rewritten and you can explain that with various timey-wimey things when things do contradict. But it is a shame to just insert that in just for the sake of seeing the regeneration. We don't know how it's going to go down. There might still be that, ambiguity that leaves a gap for those missions for the CIA in there. But, I don't know. We'll see. How do you feel about this? Are you someone who would regret them taking away this narrative gap that so many stories in Expanded Universe has filled? Or are you more happy that we're going to get to see that regeneration, which we never got to see in the original series? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If there's any more Doctor Who announcements today, I'll try and cover them in a video, but in the meantime, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe for more Doctor Who content, and I will see you soon. Goodbye.